Alrighty, so the developer notes are out, and they're out at the same time as the JP notes, which is a little bit weird, but they obviously they talk about that a little bit, or not necessarily that specifically, but I'm assuming the reason for that is right here in this first paragraph, or first section. We're almost at 10K, so if you haven't subscribed already, feel free. And obviously this is going to be a lot of talking and me giving my opinion on what's said, so if you just want to throw it on in the background, I have gotten a couple of comments saying people already do that, so definitely recommend it. Either way. Hello, this is Director Koo of the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross team. It's been a while since the last developer notes. As you all know, we've been presenting our developer notes at the end of each month. However, with various notices like update notices and official announcements simultaneously opening up at the end of the month, we've decided to release the developer notes at the start of each month from now on. The main reason for rescheduling the developer notes is that instead of repeating what's stated on the confirmed updates, we want to inform you of our future plans regarding updates that we have in mind. Therefore, the dev notes will now focus more on what is being developed and how the team plans to produce new content. That being said, let's dive into the developer notes. So I think this is a good thing, putting it out at the beginning of the month instead of being like, oh hey, like you're already in the middle of a festival, like how's that going? Like, yeah, instead of hopefully they'll be more like, hey, there's a festival coming up, and it's I don't necessarily know if they'll say like it starts on what date, but like giving people a little bit of heads up about what the updates are coming would be really nice, especially if it's something, you know, substantial, so that way you're not like in the dark and you know that you might need to save gems or something like that. That'd be really nice. Either way, first one is difficulty adjustments to demonic beast battles. So, ever since the release of the third new beast, Skull and Hati, through the update in early July, many knights have been scavenging for strategies to defeat the beasts. However, we are aware of the fact that many of you are still having a hard time figuring out how to defeat the beasts in the previous demonic beast battles. It is true that the demonic beast battle was intentionally developed to be the most difficult PvE content there is, so we feel that adjusting the difficulties go off tangent from what we initially intended. Nonetheless, we do feel the need to improve our system after witnessing our knights having to restart the battles due to current issues with passives and or random effects. Therefore, we've changed the random effect remove buff in the second phase of the second floor of Hrosvelgr, along with the revive in the fourth phase of the second floor of Icthernir. So I'm pretty sure these are what the things that they've already implemented. I've done this video a couple of times already, and every time I get to this, I think that this is stuff that they've already changed, because they don't have the revive on phase floor 2 anymore of the deer. So these are things that they've already done, I'm assuming. We will continue to adjust the content to allow our knights to steadily and repeatedly clear the demonic beast battles. It will certainly be better for those of you who grow your heroes and have mastered the strategies. Especially with the Icthernir demonic beast battle, their specific cards are required to overcome the special patterns. Even some of our experienced knights have had to restart the battle due to the difficulty. As such is the case, we have internally discussed adjustments to the specs of Icthernir demonic beast battle to generate a more stable strategy to clear the battle, and are in the middle of testing the adjustments. We realize that that adjusting the difficulty itself will bring disappointment to those of you who have spent precious time to figure out the optimal strategies, so we wish to not step over that fine line. As a result, we will keep the overall characteristics of the current strategy and adjust specific attack patterns to allow our knights to overcome the barrier. So I'm not exactly sure what they're talking about here. Hopefully they're not like, as much as I don't like the RNG of the whole like color wheel thing, I think that it's a really cool mechanic. Like, I think that it's very unique. It's obviously not perfect, but I'm interested to see how they mess with this. If they end up like messing up the flow of the deer a lot and like it changes a whole bunch of stuff, obviously that's not going to be great, because people have already spent so much time like figuring it out and everything. You'll have to like like memorize the deer find, I guess, but I guess we'll see how that goes. We are internally testing in hopes to apply the adjustment specs of Icthernir within this month, so I guess sometime in July. We're only a week behind JP at this point, so even if they implement it at the very end of the month, we should get it at the very beginning of August, on global at least. New content development progress. Okay, we would like to further address the development progress of the PvE content Underground Labyrinth that was included in last month's dev notes. I thought originally that they were going to try to implement this as soon as the festival was over, but that is not the case, of course, because we don't have it and the festival is over. So, okay. The development direction was first introduced through the 3rd anniversary dev notes. The basic infrastructure is somewhat complete and is now in the process of adjusting specific balances and fun factors. The Underground Labyrinth is a PvE content where you clear randomly generated block-like stages to grow your heroes and select/use blocks with various effects to form effective strategies. The content isn't limited to your hero's growth progress, and various devices will be implemented in the stages to open up the possibility of multiple strategies. We are making sure that the knights who are just starting the game could also easily enjoy the Underground Labyrinth. Every stage will be different, and you can combine/grow randomly generated heroes to explore the labyrinth with the strategies of your choice. So the fact that they're making it to where you can use like your whole roster, basically, like I'm hoping that they're locking it down to where it's not just like, hey, just use Trader Melee. That would be fantastic. That sounds like what they're going for, but we'll have to see how it actually works out once it gets introduced. Therefore, the Underground Labyrinth will essentially come to our knights as a roguelike content. As for the release date, we are expecting the update to be in August. Content expansion functions and balance adjustments are in progress at the moment. So a month away isn't too bad, honestly. I mean, it's a whole new game mode, which is something that I think the game kind of needs at the moment. I mean, if they're not really updating reverse stages right now, they're not really giving us new Tower of Trials floors right now. The Demonic Beast is, what it is. Like, it's kind of repetitive, and you just, you do it, once a week. If not, you can farm the lower two, fights at this point. There's not a whole lot of, like, actual stuff to kind of mess with. I'm interested to see how, or like what is going to be driving the players to play the content, really, because if it's something that you can do sort of like regularly, like I actually really like the original Tower of Trials because it was like a monthly thing that just reset every month. You got repeated rewards or whatever. If they do it something like that, I think that would be really nice, because you won't have to deal with it like right away. You can work on it throughout the the progress, or like the process of the entire month. I don't know. I would like content like that. Something where you're not like rushed to complete it every time it comes out, but something that you want to do before it resets, so that way you get more rewards or whatever. That would be really nice. We ask our knights to wait just a little longer while we prepare this brand new content. New final boss battle. Okay, so this is interesting. After the final boss battle of the 10 Commandments, many of you have been wondering why there hasn't been an update for a new final boss battle. As for that, we are currently preparing a new final boss battle with a different boss. The final boss battle in the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross is one of the original contents that focuses on strategic gameplay since the early stages of the launch. However, the content has become a den for reward acquisition over the years. Despite adding Oath of Combat and final boss battle legend, words still go around that the content isn't as it used to be. Okay. While we are preparing for a new final boss battle update, we are thinking outside the box to come up with new strategies to defeat the boss and not having to rely on certain deck formations. Okay, the first final boss battle of the new the first boss of the new final boss battle will be one of the archangels, the 4 archangels, and we will inform you through the dev notes in the near future about the restructure plans and update schedule. So I'm assuming it's going to be Sariel. That's the one that we've already gotten kind of leaked for a final boss. I think it'll be really cool. Hopefully, the outfit's really neat and everything. I think we somewhat got it leaked, but it sounds like they're trying to like restructure the way that it works, because honestly, it does kind of suck that final boss at the moment is like a whole bunch of people find a really weird niche strategy where it's like completely RNG based and you have to use these specific characters to just, like, I don't know, very gimmickly get like an insane score, so that way you're, you know, at the very top or whatever. Not super like thrilled whenever new final boss battles come out. If there's new costumes and stuff like that to get and the rewards are good, I'm always, you know, happy to do them. But you know, they're not always like fantastic. So hopefully if they do actually restructure this like they're saying that they're doing, hopefully it'll be a little bit more fun. And then yeah, I am really actually kind of interested in the Archangel final bosses. I think if they add new costumes for those, that'd be great, because the Archangels are really cool. And then the last thing we have here is additional system improvements. Apart from the plans mentioned above, additional improvements regarding convenience of gameplay and shortening of deathmatch playtime will also be implemented in July. Okay. After adding multiple heroes with different passives and missions in the contents that require specific heroes, we feel the need to implement a search function with filters to easily find the desired heroes. Consequently, we will be adding a new function where you can categorize the heroes depending on their passives and a method to check the hero's starting grade. Okay. So it's really funny. I actually got a comment the other day on one of the final boss, or on one of the Tower of Trials floors, where it's like, oh, the gimmick is you need to use different rarity units or whatever, and the guy was like, I don't have any rare or SR units anymore, they're all UR. Like, so who am I supposed to use? And I was like, well, it doesn't really work that way. So the fact that like they're making it to where you can see the starting grade, I guess, is good. And I figured we already had a search function, but I'm assuming this is going to be like where you can categorize, like, depending on if their passive has like deathmatch only or whatever the case may be. So that could be kind of helpful, I guess. I mean, obviously any sort of quality of life improvements are nice to have, so okay, I'm all right with that. As for the unique filter, we will improve the system by allowing you to filter the heroes by the passive activation conditions, such as activation upon battle entry and PvP exclusion. Okay, so that's kind of what I figured. Besides the deathmatch, which can be played 6 times a day, the boss battle needed to unlock the deathmatch. There have been many other weekly contents like the Training Grotto, Knighthood boss battle, and Demonic Beast battle that have been added to the 7 Deadly Sins. Because the overwhelming amount of repeated content, many of our knights have been unable to find time to tackle the higher contents. It saddens us to see such a reality, so we hope to mitigate this situation. We intend to bring about the improvements within August, and will notify our knights through the update notices if more details should come up. So it sounds like they're wanting to cut down on repeated content. I'm not positive there, but I'm not exactly sure what they're saying that they're trying to implement here. But apparently they're going to make some changes in August, which sounds fine. I mean, obviously, like, you know, there are a lot of like small things that you have to do each week that can sort of add up and be kind of annoying. I normally just try to like tackle all of my like weekly stuff on like Mondays. So like whenever PvP resets on Mondays and you can redo your Demonic Beast battle and stuff like that, I try to do like Knighthood boss on Sundays whenever it resets. I try to do, you know, Demonic Beast on Mondays when it resets, blah blah blah. Like, I don't know, I try to just schedule my stuff around, but obviously I think I have a little bit more time to play the game than some other people might, because it is a mobile game. So obviously cutting down on you know, some of this like repeated stuff could be very helpful. Through this dev note, we have covered details regarding the development progress of the new contents and difficulty adjustments for the Demonic Beast battle. We will be back with more interesting information in the next dev note. The dev team for the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross will continue to pay attention to your voices and do our utmost best to provide the gaming experience knights enjoy. Thank you. So, okay, I mean, it wasn't really all that interesting, but maybe some new quality of life stuff. Maybe they're going to be changing the way some of the repeated content goes. That sounds good. New final boss will hopefully be sometime soon, because I mean, I do kind of like final boss, and I do want to see the archangels and stuff like that, so hopefully that's not like super far away. But depending on how like much they're restructuring with it, it could be a while. I don't know. They didn't give a specific announcement date or anything on that. New game mode coming in August sounds good. Hopefully that will be fun and interesting and not super gimmicky, but you never know. Difficulty adjustments for the demonic beast battle. Hopefully they don't screw the deer up too bad, but I guess we'll just have to see. Hopefully, it sounds like what they're trying to do is make it a little bit easier overall because the gimmick is so RNG heavy, which sounds good, but depending on how they fix it could be weird and troublesome, I think. So we'll have to get used to that. But yeah, dev notes are now going to be at the beginning of the month. Very cool. Either way, that's pretty much it. I know it was a little lengthy. It wasn't as bad as some of the previous dev notes, but that is it from me. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you happen to make it all the way to the end, feel free to leave me like a little apple emoji. I always like to do that for the little bit more like long ready sort of like news kind of videos, I guess. But yeah, if you haven't subscribed already, feel free, and I will see you guys in the next one.